Is sub-assembly worth all the time and effort? So it's finally time to paint these sword brothers, and I've been putting them off for ages. I'm really procrastinating and been trying to work out why. Like, why am I doing this? And I think it's because of sub-assembly. So if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know I love to go down to like the nitty-gritty and sub-assemble things in like every part that can be left off is left off and painted individually. And I actually think that's starting to hinder me because when I wanted to do these guys, I was reading through the book and I was like, oh my god, there's so many details. And I was thinking about sub-assembling it and I was like, it's going to take so long to like clip them all off, put them individually on cork. I'm going to have like a whole desk full of stuff. And that was making me feel a bit like, oh, it's going to take ages. It's feeling me a bit of dread, you know. So what I want to do in this video is actually work out, is it worth the time and effort, you know? So what I've got down here is I've got one guy who's fully built. We're just going to paint it as it is. We've got one sword brother who's semi-sub-assembled. And then we've got our traditional, normal, like sub-assembled to the nines, like look at like shoulders, head, back, arms, everything. So let's go get stuck in and find out. Is sub-assembly actually worth it? And here we are. We've got our sword triplets here, all three of the boys. So we've got the fully built one, half and half, and then just the pile of bits. You also might notice, I mean, it's pretty obvious on the cape, but they're also a slightly different shade of grey and white. I've used 3 different priming techniques just to see what it's like. So probably like this actually. I've got just full white undercoat on one of them. One of them I did sort of just grey, and then the other one I did an undercoat of grey and then a zenithal of the white. Just to want to see sort of what difference it makes for the different types of undercoat. Just something we was talking about in my Emperor's Champion video, and I thought, yeah, put it into effect and see what it's like. But where do we start? It's just with the armour. So we're just going to do what we always do, nothing fancy. So we're going to start off with our normal base layer of black Templar contrast all over the model. Then we're going to try and dry brush some Russ grey all over the edges, just to get that nice sort of highlight effect. And then we'll round it off with some Nuln oil to make the armour a little bit more metallic, shiny. So yeah, straight into the painting with this time. No messing around, no messing around with building or anything this time, just because we've got a lot to paint, and I figured, yeah, if I do the build process for 3 of them, then the painting and everything, the video would be like 4 days long. Oh, I will say, before we get on to the other 2, first initial reactions is, wow, this was, yeah, a lot more difficult than I remember. Like, I did originally start off, like, painting like this, just normally, like, build the model, paint it in full, but I forgot how, like, difficult some sections can be. And one thing I am really keen to see at the end, while I just touch up all these areas I've missed, is stuff like that, like areas I can't get to because of fully assembled and how much they actually matter, because I've spent a lot of time painting areas like, especially on these models, like the back, like these panels here, the back of their legs, but you're not going to be able to see them because they're covered in their cape. And then, yeah, when I was trying to paint this one, like, it's hard to see. Oh, you can see under there, actually, it's kind of hard to get into some of these sections. So I am kind of keen to see at the end of this how much that matters, like the unpainted sections. Yeah, so that was interesting. I definitely think it's a weird one because like with the full build, whenever I finish doing a section, whether it be the Black Templar, the highlights, I was like, am I done? I don't know. I don't feel like I've finished. You know, I feel like I'm missing something, or I haven't done it, or it's not fully done. I think that's because I couldn't get into every single nook and cranny. But like I said earlier, how much does it matter? Like, I guess you can see there's a little gap that I need to fill in. Because like I did spend like time doing like I mentioned around the back here, like the back of his feet look really good, that back panel, but you're not going to see it. It's like, what's the point? I don't know. I guess it's maybe a mental thing. But yeah, like as I was doing this one, I was like, oh, I've done everything. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing some stuff. My initial reaction just doing the base armor is I do think yeah, it's hard for me to get away from the sub-assembly. I just feel like it's so much easier to get into all these places and you get so much better coverage and whatnot. But I think once we get to the end and build it all, time will really tell. But my initial reaction is still just, I do like sub-assembling, you know. But that is the armor looking all done. I'm always happy with this look, you know. That's sort of like big dark armor. So, where should we go from here? I kind of want to stick to this front section, you know, the tabard. So get like the tabard, the belt. This guy's got some like chains across his chest. What about this one? Oh, he's got a necklace, yeah. So yeah, let's tell you what, let's do this front section. Also, because I mentioned in my Emperor's Champion video, with us abandoning the black undercoat and sticking to whites and greys, I want to see what just one thin layer of skeleton horde, maybe two layers, looks like on this tabard. Because I really like how it looks sitting in all the recesses. It's just in the past I've used black primer, and trying to put skeleton horde on top of black is just a recipe for disaster. So yeah, let's crack out the skeleton horde, chuck that on the tabard, and also I guess I'll put, they've all got belts, so I can do Mournfang on the belts, and then also paint some of these chains and relics like lead belcher and gold. I will say this is the exact point I was talking about at the start. Like, I guess a knock against sub-assemblies. I'm spending quite a lot of time on this like back belt, and it is quite nice. I do feel accomplished getting it done, knowing it's like painted and it's kind of all well done, and the model's like complete. But you won't be able to see it. Like, like this is what it's going to look like. It's like, does anyone else like do this, like paint sections, even though they know like no one's going to see it? I guess it's like a personal accomplishment thing, right? Like I feel good knowing like, oh yeah, it's all painted. But like it's just, yeah, I don't know, it's a weird one. Cool, so I believe that's everything on the front tabard section, just the base colours. We haven't done any shades or highlights just yet, but we'll get to them in a minute. Try and lay these out. It's kind of hard to show off all three. There we go. Resting on their little bed. So, with the tabard, not really sure. So I did 2 coats of skeleton horde. And I think it's okay. It's kind of got that desired effect I wanted. Like, I like with the contrast, I like that it kind of sits in the recesses and darkens it down. It's kind of like that Xandri Dust, Agrax Earthshade. It does both the Agrax Earthshade and the Xandri Dust in one, you know. So that was quite cool, which is a little bit patchy and streaky in some sections. But no, other than that, got the belts and all of the necklaces and the relics. They're really, really cool. Looking alright so far. Just need to put the washes and the highlights on. I think that'll add a lot to it. It's a little bit flat at the minute, just some of it. So we'll just chuck Earthshade on the belts and Nuln oil on all of the metallics, and then we'll highlight them with all sorts, like Mournfang on the belt, Liberator on the relics, and maybe a touch of Leadbelcher as well. Oh, cool. So, got a fair bit done today. We've done all of the armour, tabards, necklaces and belts, and I really like them, you know. I'm really happy. Like, I did actually add some Ushabti bone onto the tabard as like a highlight. Look quite heavy. I did some edge highlights around like the edge of the tabard and then on some of the raised sections. And I like it. It adds a lot to it. I definitely think Ushabti bone was a good shout. I think on the this guy, like the Wolverine looking dude, it really adds a lot. Like, yeah, really makes the tabard like pop a lot more volumetric. So yeah, you know, skeleton horde and Ushabti bone looking pretty good. I put quite a bit of Agrax Earthshade on the belt, so I didn't realise. I put it on, went to the cinema, came back like 4 hours later, and it's really dark. But it's turned out quite well with the edge highlights and whatnot. But so far so good. But like I mentioned, I'm going to bed, and the next thing you'll see is the small little insignia detail on their shin, and then I think I might jump onto the shoulder pads. Cool, so that's the shoulder pads done, and yeah, wow. This has definitely been the turning point where I've been like, oh my god, sub-assembly is the way forward in it. I forgot how hard it was to get behind sections that are covered by things. So yeah, like even just this mace covering up, like trying to get into these nooks and crannies. Never mind the cape that's covering half of the shoulder pad. Like, there's definitely some stuff in there that's just not even touched. But I guess we can do a little comparison now, because these were like obviously the easiest because they're off. So are they much better than the ones on the full build? A little bit. Not noticeably, to be fair. Oh, actually, I don't know. Hold on. No, they're fairly similar, but this is just definitely easier. It's easier, and it's also funny because I actually record it, I can see like the shoulder pads on the full build guide took like 5 minutes to get coverage, whereas these things are like 2 for like both. That's all the colours done. The knees looking pretty cool as well. Like I like the little thing on the knee. So next up, those are just the base colours. So we still need to put on like the washes like Nuln Oil and the highlights like Evil Suns and Troll Slayer. So we'll quickly do that. And I'm not sure where to go next. Cool, so that's all of the shoulders done with the shading and the highlights, and yeah, I'm really happy with how these are looking. Like just the recipe in general, we've got probably easier to see on this one, which I guess is a perk of sub-assembly. It's easier to show you guys. But yeah, looking quite nice. There's nice defined spot highlights with that Troll Slayer orange on the little bumps. Got some nice edge highlights, and do you know what, actually? Getting some edge highlights on these shoulder pads wasn't too bad with it being fully built, same as these guys. Yeah, the full build sort of situation didn't really hinder the edge highlighting all too much. So yeah, not too bad. No difference really there. Just love these shoulder pads. They add so much. I love just the big, massive red trim on them. That's so good. Right, moving out from the chest area though, and the torso, I do think it's time for what the Sword Brothers are known best for, and that is some spicy weapons. So for these three, we've got the Wolverine claws, this big mace, a melter, which should actually be the first melter I painted since the first ever models, which is wild. Everything's had a gun. And then the other melee weapon is obviously a thunder hammer, because if that's an option and you're not picking it, what is wrong with you? These things are unbelievable. They're so cool. So I think we'll work in reverse in terms of full build weapons, then the Wolverine claws, and then the thunder hammer. So yeah, like I mentioned, actually, I want to start with this melter because every marine I've done has had like either plasma pistols or just normal bolters. And the only other time I've done a melter, I think, is yeah, those first ever models I did. Look at these, a blast from the past. Oh, how far we've come. Look at these little Infernus Marines. So I'm actually really excited and keen to go back to doing the melter, almost like a nostalgia effect. It'd be so much fun, especially to see how much better we can make them look in. Yeah, so it'd be Khorne Reginald, the trim casing, Balthazar, and Leadbelcher across the metallics. So that's all of the colours, shading and highlights. So I got a little bit carried away. I was having so much fun. I also did all of the silver chains going around his gun and his arm. So yeah, it's pretty flushed out. I mean, looks okay. Got some nice little highlights, some good colours. It's looking like it's missing something there, you know. It looks a little bit plain. So I do really want to try that sort of that melted, charred, molten, burnt, like flamer effect that I've sort of seen around. We kind of make it a little bit like purple, where it's like super, super hot and burnt. So what I'm going to do, yeah, so I found a guide online that I'm going to give it a follow. It's just 3 little steps. So one thing I do want to do before I actually load up the purple is just put some Cygor brown in the little divots just to recess shades so they're a little bit darker, so that the holes in there. And then what I want to do is, after that, dry brush some lead belcher over this section, like try and just kind of like catch some of the edges of these little bumps with some highlights of silver. And then, yeah, apply layers of Magos purple over the gun. So, similar to what we did with the sword effect on the molten burning sword, we'll sort of apply some here, all the way down, apply some here, all the way down, getting like, you know, every time we apply another layer, just getting closer and closer to the end. So, hopefully, it builds up like a gradient. Unreal, that looks really good. I'm well chuffed with that. There's only like 3 layers of Magos purple. I did put a touch of blue on at the end. It was Macragge blue mixed in with some Abaddon black and then really watered down. The guide said to use something similar. Thin down Ultramarines blue and glaze it, but I don't know if that's how to use Macragge blue. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. I wonder if it can. Yeah, it's really nice. I think it looks better on the outside than the inside. I don't know if maybe I went a little bit too ham on the dry brushing, although what I might actually do. The purple does go really far back, so what I might actually do is just get a little glaze. Actually, we can do this now. Yeah, so I've just whipped up, where is it? There you go. Just a little glaze of Balthazar gold. It's literally just 1 part Balthazar and like 2 or 3 parts water. I think, look at it. So it'd be cool just to put some of that just over the section down here so we can sort of bridge the gap between the Magos purple and the gun. Oh, I don't know, that's been a bit too much. Maybe we can wipe some of it away. Which that's okay. And maybe around the other side as well. Just because, yeah, I think the purple's gone a little bit too far back and you can't really see any of the Balthazar, so it might be nice if we just bring it forward a little bit. But not too far, so hopefully once that Balthazar glaze dries, it kind of blends in a little bit. But either way, I'm really happy with that, you know, just a nice little extra thing just to make the gun a little bit more interesting, a little bit special, you know. Plus also, it's quite a nice little colour to have on the black and the red, you know, just a little hint of purple down there. 10 out of 10, well chuffed with that. Yeah, that's really cool. Awesome. So, we move on to the hammer next. It's not a hammer really, it's a mace, isn't it? So I guess this will just be fairly standard. Probably Baal red for the handle. Silvers and golds all around for the trinkets and the chains. And then I don't know what the casing is. It's like this weird hammer thing. I'm assuming it's going to be either gold or silver. Oh, it looks like there's blue. Like this coil on the inside. It's like a plasma thing. Oh no. That sounds quite difficult. Cool, so that's all of the colours done on the mace, and yeah, I always forget like how volumetric and how full shades and highlights make it, because yeah, the colours are alright, but like it just looks flat and like it's missing something. One tiny thing is those spikes on the end of the mace are meant to actually be lead belcher, so I'll just touch them up in a minute. But no, looking really cool. I have this huge, massive, just like stonking mace. It really looks like it did some damage if it just conked someone on the head. Such a cool weapon. Oh, actually, as well, the coils and this sort of pipe are meant to be blue. We'll just put down a base of white scar, and then we're going to put some of a blue wash over the top. The only one I've got is Tyran blue, but we'll give that a try. Maybe that on top of the white will give it a nice little glow. So there's nice little highlights and some washes, looking pretty good. I'm a big fan of that. The blue's a little bit much, like it is quite strong, but it makes gives some variety to it, something a bit different to our usual weapons. But no, quite cool, like from a distance if we zoom out. Yeah, what a cool looking model, just this huge, massive mace in hand, like a burnt flamer in the other. Yeah, absolutely love that. So let's move on to the other weapons. We'll just quickly dash them out as well. Yeah, I couldn't find a solid recipe online for lightning claws. It's absolute a nightmare. I've seen a few for the Night Lord's bright blue claws, but looking at the box art and some other stuff, it seems like they're silver with some small blue at the bottom. I say bottom, this section here where the claws come out. Looks like there's a bluey sort of glow with some kind of a lightning marks. What I might try and do is just glaze on some what we've got, Calgar blue. I might try and do a little bit of a build-up of a glaze. Cool, so yeah, I've got some kind of blue glow effect on these lightning claws. Actually, let's zoom in. It's okay. It's different to what I've ever done before. I've never really done this kind of thing, this kind of pattern. So I like it for that aspect. And it's quite cool. It's something new and unique, and the blue kind of looks alright on the black and the red. It's very different and very cool. Maybe not the best thing ever painted. It is very much of a hack job. Yeah, it's okay. I don't think it's the best, but it kind of adds something other than just plain silver, and it was cool to try something new. I do like it. We've got this hammer next. Look at the size of it. Massive two-handed thunder hammer. So this will be the last weapon to do. And then we can have a little review, because I feel like I haven't spoken to the camera face to face in a while. But yeah, so this is just going to be similar to everything else, to be fair. It's the handle framing on like all these weapons are the same, and I kind of like to keep it that way just because consistency across the army, you know. So red for the handle, silver for all of these chains, and then some combination of silver and gold for the like casing at the bottom and the middle. Cool, so there's all of the base colours done, and I feel like I say it a million times every video, but I just love the vibe of the red, black, gold, and silver. It's just so like Templar, so like regal, medieval knights. Like it's just got it's such a cool imagery. Like yeah, the big silver hammer with the gold bands and that red handle. But I'm just gonna do the usual, slap on some washes. I want to. The reference picture I've got has the edges of this hammer looking a lot darker than the middle, like worn away. So what I might try and do is use some, I'm gonna be Agrax Earthshade even, but not like lather over the whole hammer. Just dab on the corners, just to have that sort of worn effect of like yeah, like hundreds of years of smashing this against like Xenos scum is like worn away at the edges. I feel like it's been ages since I've spoken to the camera like this. The painting's been so sporadic these past few days, but I find it always is during the week. It's kind of hard to like manage painting sessions with work and stuff in the evening. So we've done the cool little pattern on the shin. I like that a lot. I feel like Space Marines are always missing stuff from the waist down. They've always got loads of like chest insignias, big weapons, shoulders, but the bottom half's always a bit like just plain, which is one of the things I like about the Templars. They've got that cool tabard, so it looks like there's something going on down there. And then these dudes have got this like cool insignia, like a sword and some ribbon. It's awesome. I like that. Shoulder pads, awesome as whatever. I love the Sword Brethren and the Blade Guard Veteran versions, the big, huge, chunky red ones that just make them feel like a bit thicker and a bit chunkier. I will say though, I did paint the skulls red, and I realised they need to be white actually. So I'm going to touch that up off camera. And then the weapons, yeah, I knew this would be the meat of the video, you know, the meat of the boys, and I absolutely love them. Like, just on the hammer, which is the last one we've done, I did change my mind. I was going to do Agrax Earthshade for like a worn effect, but it looked a bit shit. So I just went with Nuln oil instead. But no, I'm happy with how that looks. And yeah, I just love the way all these big, huge, massive melee weapons look. And I absolutely love this like, purple molten flamer scorched metal like effect. It's so cool. It's so easy as well. Literally just purple contrast, a little bit of dry brushing. But it adds so much like character to the model. I absolutely love it. It's really cool. Then yeah, these lightning claws. It's a bit of a weird one because like it is just a random thing I've done on my own. Like I've just put the Calgar blue and the stripes and the lightning bolts, and wasn't really following a guide. I'm just kind of playing around with it, and it looks kind of cool and alright, you know. So, what's next? This is one thing about sub-assembly where it can get a little bit confusing sometimes. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 pieces of cork on my desk. That's all like covered in different bits. So it's kind of hard to. Oh, 7 actually. It's kind of hard to like work out what we've done, what we've got left, and whatnot. Because yeah, like look at all this like stuff. So yeah, we'll do the trophies next. Gonna do the backpacks next, and then they're just heads and capes. Cool, so just 2 little backpack relics. I'm a big fan of this gold recipe we've got. It's the Retributor base, Reichland Flesh Shade to like make it a little bit red and dark, and then yeah, highlighting with Liberator and some spots of Lead Belcher. It's quite cool. I quite like the Lead Belcher on this one, and to be on both of them actually, it's like almost like chip damage, like it's been worn away over like the thousands of years of crusading. I love that big, huge golden halo arching over the top. It's kind of nice actually with the Tabard. Like the gold and like the tan Tabard are kind of similar colours, and it kind of like gives us a line down the middle that kind of separates the two. There's a line of gold tan, the 2 big like red pauldrons either side. It's quite nice imagery actually. So these 2 are done. I just wanted to do those first because this next one's going to be a little bit special. Not going to be the normal just gold and silvers. So this is like a torch. So what I want to do with this, I'm going to take some fiery colours. So we've got 2 contrasts, red and yellow, Baal red and imperial. And we've also got some Trollslayer orange just because I don't have an orange contrast. But what we'll do is we'll water this down so it's basically like a contrast. And yeah, kind of wet blend these. So we'll put, we'll put some yellow on the bottom, and then a little bit of orange in the middle, and then some red on the top. But we'll try and like apply them when they're all wet, so kind of all blend into like a fiery colour. That's the plan anyway. Let's see how that goes. Look at that, that's pretty good, you know? Especially considering I didn't really follow any tutorials. I just kind of grabbed the colours, melded them all together, tried out my own thing, and yeah. It's not the best, there's definitely room for improvement, but you get the definite vibe of it. It's really, really cool. I also slapped a little bit of black on the top, just because I saw it in a picture. I thought it looked kind of cool, and I was like, actually, you know what? Yeah, flames are like a little bit black when they flicker at the top and they kind of burn out. So, There's only two things left now. That is the heads and then those big old capes. So what I want to do is I've got something I want to try. So I guess one of the perks of batch painting and doing multiple models at a time is I can try stuff out on this one. And if it doesn't look good or it does, I can adjust accordingly. But basically, what I'm going to do with this is something I saw Duncan Rhodes do. It's paint the whole base corn red, and then I can find the smallest dry brush I've got. So yeah, paint the whole base corn red, and then what we can do is we can take a dry brush, load it up with corn red, and then also load it up with a little bit of Mephiston red, maybe a bit actually. Then we can sort of dab over the raised areas where it kind of dips, where it kind of rises out of the divots. So like, oh, you can see there, yeah, like along here, along there. So the middle bit, the lowest pin will still be pure corn red, but then a little bit up will be corn and Mephiston. And then we can keep going back, adding a little bit more Mephiston, dab a little bit higher up, a little bit more Mephiston, higher up, to eventually we've got like pretty much pure Mephiston on the top layers only. In theory, that sounds straightforward and should work, but in practice, it's going to be a whole other question. Yeah, that's looking okay. It's not this desired. Well, it's got the desired effect. Is I can kind of see the difference in colour. It's just not. I don't know. Not as good as I thought it would be. I can't think of the words to describe it. It's just it's just okay. It's alright. I do really like these raised edges at the top that caught the dry brush. They look really nice. But I think for this front half, I'm just going to call it there for that one. And then for what we're going to do is move on to this second one. Actually, to be fair, when you compare it to what just corn red looks like, there is more to it. What I'm going to do for this one, I'm just going to chuck some Nuln oil over the whole cape, and then just do some really heavy dry brushing of Mephiston red. Like proper get in there and just, really like dry brush loads of it. And then do a light dry brushing of Evil Sons over the top. Cool, that's looking pretty good. A little behind the scenes is I filmed that talking point last night and did this thing first thing in the morning, which means I completely forgot to put the Nuln oil on. So there was no Nuln oil, it was just, corn red, a heavy dry brushing of Mephiston, and a light of Evil Sons. We compare it to the other one. It's not too much different. I think some of the raised edges are a lot sharper, but overall, looking good. I do think I prefer this one a little bit, so I might stick with this for the third and final dude, and I'll actually remember to put the Nuln oil on. Sweet, that one's looking pretty good as well, The Nuln oil, I think, added some darkness to it. I think I did make it a bit streaky, though, so it wasn't looking the best, but actually, no, you know what? I kind of prefer that, It has a lot of, like, shadow, like, sort of, darkness in those folds and lots of shadows and bit more volume to it. So you know what, maybe actually Nuln oil is the strat. I guess we get all three lining up. Yeah, so we've got like this sort of stippling effect over here. Wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but still not too bad. And this was just Mephiston red and Evil Sons dry brushed, and then this was the same but with Nuln oil placed down. And then if we just turn the lights down a bit, yeah, it's pretty good. God, these insides, I hate doing the insides of the cape, although this is going to be a million times easier with it being sub-assembled. I am just going to go for Wraithbone. Oh, actually, no. I'm not going to go Wraithbone. I'm just going to go for Rakoff Flesh and then I'm going to similarly put a heavy dry brushing of Wraithbone over the top. So hopefully that should add some volume to it. That's for these two at least. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this guy. I think I'm just going to put Wraithbone over what I can get to. Cool, so these capes were interesting. So this one went the most wrong. I don't know if it comes up on camera, but I loaded up a bunch of Wraithbone on the dry brush, and then as I was dry brushing it, I realised some of the red from this side was still there. There's like a red tint to it. So I just applied some Nuln oil over the top to try and darken it down. And then I forgot to record it, but I got Wraithbone on and I was just sort of like dabbing it on. You can kind of see there, there's, kind of the scratches, not the scratches, but the sporadicness nature of it, because I was just like dabbing it on. Kind of looks okay, a little bit scatty and worn, which, I mean, to be fair, is on theme for Crusading Space Marines that have been fighting for thousands of years. Similarly with this one, I did Nuln oil first, and then I loaded up the dry brush with a lot of Wraithbone. I didn't really wipe a lot of it off, and I just sort of applied loads, so the top layer is really scraggly, heavy Wraithbone, and then you can see in the middle that Rakar flesh is kind of just sitting there like a darker. So I think that's almost everything. Just the heads left, and to be fair, two of them are just going to be these two. Will be eyes and a little bit of lead belcher on this targeting system, and then we've got a face to do wherever. It's the same one. Yeah, we'll just chuck because there's flesh on this guy's face, some brown on his hair, maybe like Cygor, and then try and spot some eyes on him. Oh, here we go. After many hours of basing and building, we've got all three of our sword brothers. Da, 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 da. Oh my god, look at these boys. They're so good. Oh, I'm all tough with them. They're like, yeah. Now that they're all based up, fully built, I absolutely love them. I love the vibe, how big and chunky they are, the big and massive melee weapons. Yeah, absolutely love these guys. So I guess if we go through them one at a time, and then we can do an overall review of all three and like the sub-assembly and whatnot. So we just quickly move these two to the left and look at this boy. Cool, so here he is. This was one that was fully built, all constructed at once, no sub-assembly. I think it's okay, it's pretty good. There's nothing that stands out really as like, oh my god, if this was sub-assembled, this section would be so much better or whatnot. In terms of the base as well, it's just, sorry to go over that before we start, it's just sterling mud, some fake grass and AK still water. There's a lot of PVA glue that's still there. I'm going to wipe that away. There we go, that'll dry off and be alright after a while. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple teeny tiny bits, like there's a gap in his shoulder there that's unpainted that I could have got to, and then I guess if I get real close and look into like some shoulder pads and hidden bits, there is it's a little bit patchy. but nothing that's like in your face, blast, like, oh god, that was impossible. But no, I'm really, really happy with this guy. He's really, really cool. I guess if we just go over some of the unique things like the weapon, I really, really like that. It's really cool. I wish I could have sub-assembled it and spent more time on the coil. And then, yeah, that sort of burnt melter effect is really cool. I really, really like that. I'm a massive fan. Just adds something to the what would normally be a boring red and bronze kind of gun. Like, it has so much character to it, so much depth, and like, yeah, such a cool little detail. I'm a massive fan. The inside of the cape, actually, because that was the bit I was kind of most worried about with it being fully built, is fine. Like, it is just Wraith Bone. There's nothing else to it. I just slapped on a couple of layers of Wraith Bone to get in there. And it's absolutely fine. So I guess we move on to the Wolverine dude with the claws. This guy's actually one of my favourites. He's so cool. I love the fire on the back. The fact he's got like a face and not a helmet, and like these Wolverine sort of like lightning claws. Absolutely love them. The cape is kind of okay. I don't think it's as good as the others. It's a little bit flat. I don't know what that is. There we go. A little bit flat. It's kind of a shame. This is like, I guess, to go back to the whole sub-assembly thing, like I spent time doing the hazard stripes on the cables, and I guess you can see it there, but like the other one's just completely hidden. It's like, why did I spend time on it? I guess if you look through the middle, you can kind of see it, but yeah, this guy's really, really cool. I like the claws as well, you know? It's quite a fun little thing knowing that I didn't really follow any tutorials. I just looked at some pictures, tried out some of my own stuff, and while I don't think it looks the best, it's okay, you know? It's alright, it does the job. Like a nice bluey glow, a little effect. But no, I went with the face, the flaming like trophy, and then the claws on this guy, just because I don't know, I like the idea of like this big fiery angry dude just like running at you. Like, imagine like you see his face, he's just like screaming and angry. You got the burning trophy at the back, he's like a berserker almost, just like getting up in you with those lightning claws. And it's such a cool like, oh yeah, look at that, like that. Imagine just like seeing that guy running forward like into battle. Yeah, this guy's just in your face, fire, claws, everything. Yeah, big fan of this guy. Really, really cool. And then last but not least, this was the fully sub-assembled guy, and this guy's got the most eccentric base of the lot, to be fair. This is this one. So this is the hammer guy. Absolutely love it. So cool. That's one thing I like across all these models, yeah. It's just like the motion in them. Like the big, huge melee weapons and the motion of them like attacking with them. Super, super cool. But no, it turned out actually quite good, you know. Because I really like this imagery of him like jumping over the rock in motion, like he's running at you like hammer in hand, about to like, yeah, like similar to the first dude, he's like leaning forward about like he's about to like come down on someone, swinging his hammer like a big like fudonk. But this guy, yeah, his cape, he's getting quite good actually. There's some sharp edges that look quite nice and like bright, and the divots themselves are still like quite a dark corn red, so I'm a big fan of that. He's got a little gun on his side as well, just a nice little extra pouch that we pre-painted before, so I got to do that. And I really like this hammer, you know, like I lathered a lot of like Nuln oil, a little bit of Agrax Earthshade over I guess the top of the hammer. You can see there, and then you can kind of see there. And yeah, it adds like this worn sort of look to the head of the hammer, which I really, really like. And yeah, I don't know, just something about the model like leaning into that sort of striking pose is really, really cool. What I do quite like as well, if I take him off and compare him to the rest of the dudes. But yeah, I guess to go over all three of them together, like just look at that imagery, that's so cool. Just like these three massive chunky sword brethren, like they're huge. This guy in the middle was like screaming like come at me with his claws and his flames. This guy looks like he's jumping off a rock into battle, and this guy looks like he's just running forward. Yeah, such cool imagery there. These are great models, man. Oh, they're so cool. I thought when I bought the box, the Blade Guard veterans, their big huge shields would be my favourite. But now I've painted these up, I absolutely love them. Oh, they're so cool. It was a lot of work getting here, I will say. Like doing three of them there, they took a lot longer to paint than I thought. I mean, I haven't been really busy this week, so it's been hard to get them all done. So I haven't had a lot of time. But there's just so much, like these big chunky shoulder pads, these huge capes. I love the trophies on the back, like a lot. Especially this one, like the flame and the torch. I absolutely love it. It's so cool. But yeah, these boys, they were incredible. They were so much fun to paint. Oh, so we're almost there now. So let's take these three sword brothers. Where can they go? They want to go with the Marshal, because that's what they're going to be in, right? The Impulsor, the Marshal are going to be in that dedicated transport. So let's move these back. Because they can kind of go in front, can't they? I mean, there's only three, so we'll do the other two at some point. I've got a plan for the other two, so they'll get done eventually. But for the time being, there's just three back here. And yeah, this little box is getting real cluttered. We might have to expand the army out somewhere. But I think I might rearrange my office soon anyway, so I'll save it for that. So we did have 685 points. The Sword Brethren squad are 105. So that should bring us up to 790. Oh my god, yes. Then once we do... What's left in the box? I guess another squad of the Crusaders. And then, we've got that Crusade Ancient as well that we need to do. Well, apparently it's not very good, but that's whatever. It's a cool model and I like it. So yeah, 790 points. Oh, we're so close now. Oh, so there we go. 3 Sword Brothers done in varying types of sub-assembly, and I think I've come to a conclusion. So the paint job itself was fine, you know. I actually thought the full build guy would be like loads of patches and obvious bits that weren't that good, but overall it was fine. I don't think there was a real obvious like change in quality, you know. I couldn't like I think if I presented them to people blind and was like, what do you think of these 3? They'd be like, yeah, they're all fine. But it was definitely a lot less stressful to do certain things. So the cape was real easy just to do when it was like sub-assembled. The weapons, like overall, just everything was a bit more manageable. I think the painting was easier to manage, and it made me feel more accomplished to do things. So like when I did the torso, it was easy to like I can just pick up the torso and I don't have to think about lots of stuff. The downside is obviously you paint areas that are covered. You might spend a bit more time on things that don't really matter. But I think that's a fine payoff for me because, like I mentioned in the video, mentally I feel accomplished when I do like I finished painting the weapon. That's all done in a little package. I can put it to one side and tick off a box and be like, ah, that's cool, I feel accomplished. Whereas when I was doing the full build, I'd paint like the weapon and I don't know, I didn't feel like, oh, okay, I'm done here and I can move on to the next thing. It felt like a constant flow of just like constantly painting. There wasn't like nice little checkpoints. But ultimately that is a me mental thing. Well, I guess if you feel the same and you go through similar like thought processes, let me know so that I'm not alone and I'm not going crazy. But yeah, I definitely feel like lots of little accomplishments when it's sub-assembled, whereas when it's full build, it's like this kind of thing. But in a similar sense, I felt it was a lot more manageable in terms of put the whole model down, pick up paint. Like it was a lot easier to dip it in and out because I did that a lot this week. And these models took me about 6 days, and I think that was just because I've been really busy this week. So it was like an hour here, 20 minutes there, whatnot, and that can be a bit intimidating and hard when it's like 6 or 7 pieces of cork all over the desk, and I'm like, have I done this bit? Have I done that? Where's this? And where it's at? So sometimes it's hard to keep track of what you've done over long sessions, I find, with sub-assembly. But overall, I do think I'm going to continue with sub-assembly going forward. I think I just need to like be like, no, it's fine. Put in the extra effort at the start and end with the building. It's a better process overall. I think model by model, probably approach it, but overall I think sub-assembly is just worth the effort. And this was good. It was good to do this to remind myself to like, just put in that little bit of extra effort, a little kick up the arse. But super fun. Really, I love the models. They're so cool. Like I would have been putting up pictures as we go, but like I was taking so many pictures of them because they're like so cool at different poses and different like squads and different angles, and I love the way they look. They're so good. But yeah, if you liked the models as much as I did, drop a like and subscribe. And as always, tune in next time. And thank you for watching. Bye.